As long as they're favorable, we'll make the fight happen. There's no problem with that. And I think everybody wants to see the fight, so the money's not going to be an issue because there will be enough money in the pot.
By Eddie Hearn, do you think he's going to say my guy's the guy? I mean, how can he say
Oh,
that?
he better not. I mean, that's there's no question that I have the man. No question that I have the man. There's no question that Virgil Ortiz is the man. So
we unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Controversy, scandal, mayhem. This video will have it all. As I prepare to get unpacked and discuss Virgil Ortiz, a new motion has been filed. This is breaking news. Going against Golden Boy, his very own promoter, Oscar De La Hoya. I do believe he makes a strong case. This is getting messy. And in this video, follow me to the end of this path, and I will do my best to let you guys know what on earth is going on. Virgil Ortiz versus Boots. Will it happen? Golden Boy, are they standing in the way? Who's to blame? I'm going to try to cover absolutely everything right now in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. It was all good just a week ago. Yup, it's perfect. In the words of Jay-Z featuring Too Short, it was all good just a week ago. Now, just as soon as I got my last video out, and check it out because there's still some very good information in there, we got new information. And that's the thing with boxing. Information is always cycling and updating. And in my last video, I told you that Golden Boy filed an emergency TRO, temporary restraining order, to prevent the rest of what's left of Team Ortiz, excluding Golden Boy, from moving forth with a Boots fight without Golden Boy. The judge granted this motion, but now in a 22-page rebuttal from Team Ortiz, who's currently actively suing Oscar, I do believe, De La Hoya, they don't like the motion he did, so they've countered it. And they had until yesterday to do that. So now the ball's in Golden Boy's court. As of me recording the video, early in the morning, Golden Boy has not responded yet, because this came and broke. The story broke late last evening. Now, before I really get into this, I got a quick PSA. If you're rocking with the content, beat up the algorithm, let it be known. We're trying to advance the channel. I take my time, especially with these unpacked videos. There's a lot of fake content and low quality content out. I'm giving you guys something different. I could rush out a bunch of 4 or 5 minute videos, try to clickbait y'all to death, but I'm not doing that. I went through this lawsuit, 22 pages. I'm highlighting pivotal and key pieces for you guys so you guys understand what's going on. So I'm trying to up the technology so we run even smoother, get a new Mac and some other things. My link me is in the description if you want to support the movement. Or you could throw a like on the video, leave me a comment, let me know how I'm doing. But make sure you guys consider that. Don't just try to use me for my knowledge. Let's go. So, as I stated, I got the lawsuit. I went through it, highlighted key parts for you guys so you really understand kind of what's going on. And it's a lot. So, plaintiff Virgil Ortiz, of course, you know, he's basically disagreeing with Oscar De La Hoya's TRO. And this is also why you got to rock with the channel, because at the end of the day, I make content about this stuff. And if you guys watch the content, you'll really know what's going on. So, it's a lot. I don't even know where to begin. Virgil Ortiz is suing his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boy. Got it? Good. Oscar De La Hoya is countersuing, saying that Rick Marinigan, his manager, is snaking and trying to do stuff, and he's claiming he has Virgil under contract still. Virgil and manager Rick Marinigan were continuing to negotiate even after De La Hoya was putting out videos saying there's a deadline, the Boots fight. He pretty much made it sound like the Boots fight wasn't going to happen, right? And despite his involvement or lack thereof in Golden Boy, they kept negotiating with other people. Word got back to Oscar De La Hoya, who found this out, that the fighter that he helped build, Virgil Ortiz, was trying to still fight Boots and cut Golden Boy out the deal. So Oscar, being a former fighter, being somebody who's been in the business and being a longtime promoter, was like, And he went to the Nevada courts and requested, and initially he was granted a TRO, temporary restraining order, so as they have to have an emergency hearing this Friday on the 20th to decide if Virgil Ortiz is able to commence with the Boots fight, presumably, or does De La Hoya have cause to block it and suppress it and not be involved. Like, the show must go on. Like, that's pretty much where Virgil Ortiz is, him and his manager on. Show must go on, and we're willing to go on without De La Hoya. But Golden Boy is like, no, you're not cutting me out the deal. You're still legally tied to me. Get it? Got it? Good. So I went through the restraining order, and I made a separate video. Check that out. But this is Rick Marinigan and Team Ortiz and DAZN filing a complaint that they oppose the temporary restraining order. Meaning, they're like, in layman's terms, bump De La Hoya, bump Golden Boy. We want to make the fight no matter what he's talking about. That's pretty much what they're saying. I told you it's a lot. It's a lot going on. So here are the key points. February 17th to broadcast the March 14th event. DAZN and Golden Boy acknowledged this and confirmed the fact. But Section 6, beginning late 2025 through the present, Golden Boy Promotions and DAZN have been discussing terms for a new contract under which the parties could continue their long-term distribution relationship. Again, nobody's breaking it down like me. Hit the like button. Hit me up with a comment. That means they haven't actually come to terms to renew Golden Boy's contract. That's what that is. So, as of right now, Golden Boy is homeless, just like Top Rank. You know how Top Rank don't have an official, like, big network that is their home? Golden Boy, they've been negotiating with DAZN, but they haven't reached, like, a committed deal that they both agreed to. To date, Golden Boy and DAZN have not agreed to final terms for such a long-term broadcast distribution, although material terms and drafts were well progressed, but it's still no cigar. No contract has been formally agreed, approved, or signed by the parties. So they're saying, Golden Boy, I do believe they are homeless. They not part of DAZN on wax. Do you guys get it? Bro, do you understand? You gotta feel me, man. You gotta feel me. They're saying we don't have no, like, actual pen to paper official deal with them. And going back to Virgil Ortiz's initial complaint, there was some kind of clause in Virgil's revised contract that stipulated if the broadcast deal was not renewed with DAZN and Golden Boy, then Virgil could become a free agent, I believe. Right? So when they were having problems with De La Hoya, plus the DAZN Golden Boy deal had not been reached, I guess Virgil Ortiz and team looked at it like, you haven't committed us. We're on the sideline. We want to keep fighting. And we had that clause in the contract. So we're out of here. Breach of contract. Get it? Let's keep going. DAZN is aware the following filing of proceedings by Virgil Ortiz against Golden Boy lawsuit, and immediately prior to the court order. Now peep this. Mr. Ortiz was negotiating and close to executing an agreement with Rematch Room. Oh, it's a dirty game, y'all. It's a dirty game out here, man. Bro, he was close to executing an agreement with Rematch Room Boxing, Eddie Hearn, to fight Mr. Jaron Ennis on April 18th in an event to air on DAZN. You dropped a bomb on me, baby. You dropped the... So this confirms they were getting close. Now, I told you, follow me through the end of this video. Take me through there, take me through there. Because it's about to get real chippy. And you know how my unpacks go. Coming to you live. I like to save the best for last. Section 9. DAZN remains open to seeking an agree and enter into a long-term distribution agreement with Golden Boy Promotions on commercially reasonable terms, whether or not Golden Boy has Mr. Ortiz under contract. Peep this. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. February 17th, Edward McCarthy. Keep that name in mind. Edward McCarthy. McCarthy. Now, ain't it a beaut? This is a beautiful thing about the internet. Shout out to LinkedIn. Right now, I'm on LinkedIn. Now, I told you to remember the name. Edward McCarthy. Forever. Forever. Greater London, UK. So he's a Brit, right? I'm on his LinkedIn. But wait, there's more. DAZN Group, London School of Economics and Political Science. But now he worked with DAZN. And the great thing about LinkedIn, it tells you the position and all that, right? So he's working with DAZN, and that's who you just heard from in that section that I just read, right? And he is the chief operating officer at DAZN. Oh, the rabbit hole gets deep, y'all. The rabbit hole gets deep. DAZN Group, the team, Ed McCarthy, right? This is their actual page. Chief operating officer, right? So now I'm on DAZN. This is their executive leadership, right? Boom, there you go. Take me through there, take me through there. There he go, my boy Ed. Okay, chief operating officer. But y'all don't feel me. You gotta feel me. So let me connect the dots for you. The chief operating officer for DAZN, I just showed you his LinkedIn, is willing to testify pretty much against Golden Boy under penalty and perjury. Meaning if you lie, you're cooked. Right? If you lie, you're getting baked for lying under oath. So he's spilling the beans on Oscar De La Hoya. Declaration of Edward McCarthy in opposition. You see at the bottom, hold on. In opposition to defendants, which is Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya, emergency motion for temporary restraining order. Oh man, we really unpacked. Ain't nobody in the game doing it like me. I'm really unpacking this for y'all. This is what I do. This is what I live for. Come on. The rabbit hole gets deep. I could go further, I promise. So not only is it Virgil Ortiz, the fighter, his manager, Rick Mirrigan, but you have another oppressor or somebody in opposition of Golden Boy trying to get in the way of the fight via the TRO. So you have DAZN leadership, and I'm just paraphrasing. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a cop. I'm not a DA. I'm me, right? You have DAZN leadership, Ed McCarthy, and he's going on record saying these are the truths. We're still willing to work with Golden Boy, even without Virgil Ortiz. But here's where it gets tricky. Here's where it gets tricky, in my opinion. You got the chief operating officer, and he's talking about, yeah, like pretty much, why is De La Hoya tripping? We are still willing if it's economically reasonable. You got to peep how people word this stuff. If it's economically like viable or reasonable, we'll still give Oscar and Golden Boy a deal. But here's the problem. You have a British guy, Ed McCarthy, which we just went over, and another British guy, Eddie Hearn, and they're trying to steal the play and take a longtime Golden Boy fighter and proceed with a big fight and cut Oscar De La Hoya out. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the Brits done teamed up. Oh, why my weight, mate? You're slagging them, mate. And then they're willing to testify, and he's like, yo, we'll still work with Oscar and pretty much potentially renew the Golden Boy contract if it's viable. But that's kind of loaded, and I'm going to explain why. The reason it's kind of loaded is Ryan is about to fight. We don't even know if he beats Mario Barrios. So I can't really comment further on the Ryan situation until we get the outcome. He might win, he might lose. We have to wait and see, right? So Golden Boy has like 2 stars, Ryan and Virgil. Ryan put an asterisk by it because he's fighting Mario Barrios. So we don't really know what's happening with him. We don't know what's happening, right? Then you have Virgil Ortiz and Eddie Hearn. He trying to steal the play and take the fight and make it because he already has boots. He already has boots. He don't really need. So now you pretty much have DAZN and Virgil Ortiz manager, and they're doubling up. They're double teaming Golden Boy at this point, right? Because you have a deadline, which was yesterday, for them to oppose, and then they submitted the paperwork where the manager, Rick Marinigan, is in opposition of the TRO, and now you have DAZN leadership. So what does that tell Boxingego? That tells me that DAZN is on Eddie Hearn in rematch room and Virgil Ortiz's side, right? And they just want to get this fight done. And they don't care if Golden Boy's mad, if they had to, step on some toes. You know how the saying goes. If you want to make an omelet, you got to crack some eggs. So the eggs getting cracked is Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. Because if the courts allow this fight to happen without Golden Boy, then what are we talking about? What big fights? I guess you got David Benavidez versus Zurdo, you know what I mean? But that's not to the face. That's a joint with PBC because they got Benavidez, right? So what big fights does Golden Boy have at that point? Again, Ryan kind of in limbo until the weekend. And then if Eddie Hearn snatches boots versus Virgil Ortiz, which could be a big fight, then Golden Boy's not left with much. But again, peep how it's written. They try to do some slick stuff. And some of y'all not peeping it. But I peeped the play, right? I'm going to say it again for the slow people in the back. Section 9. DAZN remains open to seeking an agreement and enter into a long-term distribution agreement with Golden Boy Promotions on commercially reasonable terms, whether or not Golden Boy has Virgil Ortiz under contract. So it sounds like they want to see this fight go through, right? And they're like, hey, it don't matter who Virgil Ortiz is with, we'll still give you a deal. But the reason why I believe that's loaded is because what would that deal be worth if he can't provide you a big fight? Because let's be honest, Ryan Garcia is one fight away from not being taken seriously. It's a reality. That's why he's training, look like he's focused, and said he got off alcohol and all that, because he needs to. You just lost to Rolly, got knocked down. You lost previously to Tank, got knocked down, got knocked out. A third loss in this span of time, it will be perceived horrible for Ryan Garcia. So Ryan's already walking on a tightrope in terms of, like, if he lose to Barrios, especially if he get cooked or lose bad, he might as well just be a streamer and slap Dean the Great or whatever, like that Larry Wills dude. You know what I mean? And just do streams all the time. Because for boxing, people aren't going to really take it seriously. And then people are going to move on from Devin Haney and Ryan rematch, and then they're going to start wanting to see Keyshawn and Devin or something else, Shakur and Devin, because Ryan won't be viewed as like a serious contender anymore. So Ryan, I'm not going to say nothing because he could win. So all I'll say is, at the end of the day, Ryan's on the tightrope. Certain gust of wind could derail what he got going on, which leads Virgil Ortiz. So if Virgil Ortiz gets out just like Canelo got out, Jordan Peele movie, Get Out, then DAZN trying to be slick. They're like, yeah, we remain open as long as commercially reasonable. But I would have to surmise and I would have to imagine that deal ain't gonna be worth the same type of thing for Golden Boy if Ryan loses, right? I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying if he loses and if Virgil Ortiz leaves, how can it be, right? How can it be if you have two kind of big names versus a big name that potentially loses and then the other guy leaves? How can you sit up there and tell me the deal is going to be worth the same amount as it? Don't even make sense. Y'all cap. So yeah, Oscar De La Hoya into the thick of it. He in deep now. He in deep now because these people are coming and trying to get this done behind his back and get it done without him. You know what I mean? And you got the UK looking after the UK. I just told you, Ed McCarthy or whatever. He signed it in London, United Kingdom. So they probably would rather a fellow Brit put on this fight than Oscar De La Hoya, right? And to be honest, I'm not trying to, create tension, but it seemed like DAZN always treated Eddie Hearn and even really Frank Warren better than they did with De La Hoya. Like, I feel like they let Eddie Hearn run through the money, the $1 billion or whatever. They wasn't giving Oscar the $1 billion to get stuff done. So, yeah, it's looking interesting. But let's keep going. Section 12. Since Virgil Ortiz initiated this lawsuit January 15th, I have been entertaining offers from various boxing promoters on his behalf. Notably, Matchroom Boxing, which we just went over. They offered Virgil a 3-bout agreement that includes the April 18th fight against Jaron Ennis, referenced in Golden Boy's emergency restraining order, right? Although Virgil Ortiz exact compensation under that offer is dependent on the outcome and economic performance of the bout, Ortiz would receive at least $12 million, and based upon Matchroom's projections for the economics of the offered bouts, his earnings could approach $20 million for the 3 fights. So they're saying to fight Boots, Eddie Hearn is going to give him at least $12 million and sign him to a 3-fight deal. So even if he beats Boots, Eddie Hearn will have both fighters. Because he has Boots. Boots just re-upped with Matchroom. And then even if Ortiz wins, you can maybe do a rematch, or either way, you would have him for at least 2 more fights, total of 3 fights. And this is declaration of Rick Marinigan in opposition of the De La Hoya Golden Boy temporary restraining order. So now on Friday, it's going to be a battle where both sides got to speak their cases. Separately, a different promoter. Now, the promoter wasn't named, but I would have to imagine it's probably Zuffa Boxing or Turkey and Sella, maybe PBC, but I don't think so. I think if I had to take a guess, probably Zuffa, TKO, Sella, Turkey, because it says separately, a different promoter offered a 3-bout deal that guaranteed me $16 million plus upside based on ticket and pay-per-view sales of the bout. So Virgil Ortiz, people are trying to pay him for these fights. I am informed and believe that these agreements were effectively, now look, I highlighted this for you, ready to be signed at the time the court issued the present restraining order, temporary restraining order, the day before Valentine's Day. But for the TRO, I believe that one of those agreements would already be signed. And then again, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true. So that's from Rick Marinigan. Now, back to DAZN. Ed McCarthy declares as follows: I am the chief operating officer of DAZN, which I've already went over. I did my stuff like Quentin Tarantino. I took it in the order I wanted. So he's confirming what I already told you. The facts stated herein are personally known to me. Peep this. I keep highlighting this stuff for you. If called as a witness, I could and would testify to them under oath. So he was like, depending on how big this get, I'll go against Oscar De La Hoya and say this stuff in court. I offer this declaration in opposition to Golden Boy Promotions. So on wax, DAZN officially, I told you, stay tuned to this video. Is up, is real live. Their base, DAZN is on Virgil Ortiz's side, and Golden Boy is on their own island, and they're left to their own devices and their own legal team. DAZN is a global sports streaming. Although DAZN's offerings vary by territory, DAZN has been in the U.S. market since 2018. Golden Boy has been a part, but he's not all of it. That's pretty much what they're saying. They're like, we have other events. Notably, Golden Boy was not DAZN's sole provider of boxing events. The various agreements between Golden Boy and DAZN did not restrict DAZN from airing other events with other promoters, yada, yada, yada. DAZN's most recent long-term distribution with De La Hoya's Golden Boy expired December 31st. Despite DAZN's offer to extend such long-term distribution, whilst the new long-term agreement was finalized and agreed. Since January 1st, there has not been a long-term distribution relationship with DAZN and Golden Boy. Although DAZN aired a Golden Boy promoted event January 16th and has contracted to distribute a show May 14th, these events are one-offs, one-off shows, and the parties had and have no commitments to each other beyond those specified events. So yet again, Golden Boy, they washing Oscar De La Hoya. They hosing him. Him and his own legal representation, they're going to have to make it crack and plead their case, because you got Virgil opposing, his manager opposing, and pretty much DAZN is siding with it. And for DAZN, it makes sense. They're trying to make a profit. So why would they side with De La Hoya if the fight don't get done? You know what I mean? So this whole situation has blown up to catastrophic proportions. This is really bad. This is really bad. And it could get drug out even longer. The reason why it's really bad is because I have a lot of feelings, but since it's a legal issue, I gotta say things in a certain manner. Just my personal opinion. I think initially De La Hoya didn't want to make the Boots versus Virgil Ortiz fight, right? And he figured, I got an airtight case. Virgil Ortiz is my fighter. So you got to deal with it. You still got to work with us. But then it looks like Virgil Ortiz team, they don't want to look bad. You know, the manager and Virgil, they just had this whole face off with Boots. They don't want to look bad. They don't want the fans like booing, like, boo, he don't want to fight. He's scared, da, 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 da. Right? So as a result, they plowed through it and kept pushing forward regardless. And then they may have found a loophole because DAZN contract with De La Hoya ran out pretty much December 31st, 2025. And I guess there was a stipulation that potentially Virgil Ortiz is a free agent if Golden Boy don't have a network, which they currently don't. So they may have found a loophole to escape. And then you got an ambitious manager who gets a cut of Virgil Ortiz's money, so he wants to look like I'm doing right by my fighter. Look, I'm getting you paid. So he willing to do a 3-fight deal with Eddie Hearn. He probably shot Virgil Ortiz to Zuffa, and now he rather battle De La Hoya on these technicalities, and we'll have to see how it ends up. Man, this is crazy. This is what happens when you have too many people who want to be in charge. Now, I really believe that. You have too many people like that want to be the man. You know, Oscar De La Hoya, he want to, what I say goes, I'm the head of Golden Boy, blah, blah, blah. Then you have this Marinigan. He wants to prove his worth. Like, man, and see, I've seen it in life. A lot of times what happens is you have people in a higher spot, right? Meaning like job position, income, right? And then you have somebody under that who works with them and doesn't make quite what the other person makes. So that can lead to jealousy, envy, and or just a willingness to want to ascend and get to that level. So you'll start having people like questioning the higher ups decision, right? Where you ever had a job and you really felt, man, why am I operations manager, my store manager, my CEO, why are they making so much money and they don't even know how to use the computer good? Like, they don't know all the screens. They don't know how to process a refund. They don't have customer service skills. They can't resolve the issues like I can. You know what I mean? And then that could lead to definite friction because you have people who start believing that why he in that spot? I could do right by Virgil Ortiz. I could get him, I can land a big deal. And that's what it looks like here. You know what I mean? You start, whatever caused this, but you start looking at it, and then you start feeling like, man, I could do a great job too. We don't need Golden Boy. And that's what happens. People will start feeling they don't need you anymore. But the problem with that is that in and of itself can lead to a lot of issues as well. Like, for example, and I'm just being real with you, I'm picking Boots. I think Boots beats Virgil Ortiz. So De La Hoya is a longtime promoter, right? He's a longtime promoter, and he thinks he's doing right by the fighter. So the point I'm making is this. What if Rick Marinigan and DAZN do all this stuff and get Virgil Ortiz cooked, which is what I think probably happens. I'm picking Boots. Y'all pick whoever y'all want. I think Boots gets it done. I'm not saying it's not a tough fight, not saying it can't be a good fight. I never said that. But end result, I think Jaron Ennis wins, right? So when you look at it from that angle, you're doing a whole lot to potentially lose. Yeah, you're going to make whatever, $12 million or whatever it is, but Rick Marinigan, he don't got to take the punches. So he going to get his cut and look like the hero at first if this goes through. Because if you cut Golden Boy out, you look like the hero. Oh, I got you a $12 million deal. But in real time, it might look good. But if Virgil Ortiz get chopped up by Jaron Ennis, it's going to look bad, because that's what I've seen happen a lot of times when people think they can do your job. When they think they could do your job and do it better. Like, for example, there could be somebody who shadows me as a YouTuber for a couple of days or whatever. They start feeling, oh, I could do what Ego does. Easy. Okay, do it. What did Jay-Z say? I heard mother saying they made ho say, okay, so make another hove. I like that. I like when people think they could do my job. Oh man, you just get on there and like you just get on there and talk. All right, you do it then. Bet. Because in addition to the talking, don't my audio sound good? Who taught me that? Oh yeah, me. That's right. So the audios are mixed and mastered. I know the quality that I'm giving y'all is banging. Who did that? I don't got no team. There ain't no cameraman in my crib as I record this broadcast for y'all. The voice, the public speaking, the knowledge of boxing, speaking without stuttering, speaking without... I've done so far, the video is... we pushing 40 minutes. No breaks. No water break. No looking at cue cards. No script. No teleprompter. I don't need none of that. I'm him. So I like it when people think they could do my job. We're going to see. Let's see you public speak like Boxingego. Let's see where your boxing knowledge is. Let's see your quality. You get the camera rolling and show me that quality. Look, you can see a fingerprint. I'm so crispy, you can dang near see my fingerprint. So yeah, I like it. But in this case, this could, no matter what happens, if this fight goes through, I think it's going to be, it's one of those things where in hindsight, it might not unfold how you think. Because I think Virgil Ortiz loses. That's my personal opinion. He's welcome to prove me wrong. There's other issues. Eddie Hearn don't know America. DAZN, they don't know America, right? Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. I am a hardcore boxing fan. I dedicated many, many years to covering boxing. So y'all know that about me. It's not a big fight. Period. It's a big fight for boxing fans, but it's not a big fight. I'm talking Mayweather-McGregor, Mayweather-Canelo, Canelo-Triple G. Hell no, guys. Hell, Max. It is not that type of fight. It could be a really good fight. It could have good action, but it ain't that type of fight. So for me, surprisingly, I feel like Golden Boy's cooking a bit more because this is a lot of movement. You're doing a lot to try to get this over the line. And again, some people, they're going to go off emotions. I'm not going off emotions. Make the fight. It don't matter to me. I'm going to make money no matter what. If you make this fight or Boots fight someone else, I'm going to cover it. I like Boots, right? So I'm going to make money regardless. It don't matter. Make the fight. I'll do a watch party for it. I'm not mad at the fight, but what I'm saying is a lot of people are too emotional, so therefore they can't really comprehend what I'm talking about. It's not a big fight. It's not a big fight. Put it this way. Is it bigger than any of Mayweather's Money May fights? Any of them? Money May versus Oscar De La Hoya? No, for sure not. Canelo? No. Maidana 1 or 2? No. A fight with Canelo and Mayweather? No. Cotto, Ricky Hatton, Shane Mosley? No, no, no. And even Guerrero, that was his first fight with Showtime, so I think that did pretty well. It did pretty well with a loaded card. You know what I mean? So some people are going to pick Guerrero, like pick the weakest fight out of everything I said. Conor McGregor, Pacquiao, they're going to pick the weakest one. But the point I'm making is majority of Floyd Money Mayweather fights, this ain't a bigger fight, meaning everyone's going to be anticipating it and stuff like that. So you're doing a lot of effort and lawsuits and back and forth to court for this. And again, it sounds like self-interest. Like Virgil Ortiz manager, he want to be the hero. So he's like, yeah, I got you a $12 million deal for one fight and we do 3 fights. But long term, even for DAZN, DAZN, they're out here pushing this. If Virgil Ortiz, I thought he lost to Boachuk, just being honest. If he get cooked by Jaron Ennis, he might have to take a year off. So who cares about the 2-fight deal? It's like Canelo. You forced the Canelo Crawford fight, didn't like that fight, then Crawford retires the hero, and then what? Now Canelo's stock has reached an all-time low, and a year off. He not fighting in Cinco de Mayo. He got passed up by other Mexican, Ecuadorian, David Benavidez, and Zordo Ramirez. So he got to skip May, got to get shoulder surgery. There's really no one for him to fight that's not really dangerous that people want to see. So you got to think about the business and the long term of what you're doing, right? And for me, I feel like the Boots fight, as a fan, Boots and Virgil, I'll watch it. But it's far from like marinating and being a big fight. Like, just put yourself in this mindset. If Devin Haney rematched Ryan Garcia and it happened the same night as Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz, what would be the bigger fight? So let's surmise that Ryan Garcia beats Barrios. He'll be a champion. Devin beat Brian Norman. He's a champion. So if they rematch at welterweight, it'll be a unification, and they already have mad history from the first fight. If Devin Haney and Ryan rematched on the same night as Boots and Virgil Ortiz, I truly believe Ryan and Devin, given their backstory, Ryan popping, Osterine, it would be a unification. If Ryan beats Barrios, it would be a bigger fight. So to me, I don't believe in, like, if I take a lot of steps, I want to travel the adequate amount of miles in proper distance. I don't want to walk in place on a treadmill or something. You know what I mean? I want it to equate to something. So I just feel like this whole situation is a mess, and it's a lot going on, and a lot of movement and lawsuits, and, you know, trying to get out the contract. And then even if you succeed, okay, you succeed for what? Now you got him $12 million and a potential loss to Boots, at least of my prediction. And then here's what I'm saying. DAZN, they're part of it too. They look like they're pushing for the fight to happen too. Cool, make the fight. But here's the thing that some of y'all don't know. Remember earlier in this video, I told you DAZN and Eddie Hearn is like a British company and a British dude. They don't understand America because they have a scheduled date per this lawsuit of April 18th in Las Vegas. Boom. Guess what else is April 18th in Las Vegas? WrestleMania. Bro, that's what I'm saying. They don't understand the American market, right? Allegiant Stadium, WrestleMania 42 on that exact date. Why would that even be the date, bro? Did you not look at a calendar to see that you had a big event that was on at that exact same date? And some people are going to try to prove me wrong, which, whatever. Oh, there's not that big of an overlapping audience. It's a big... Vegas is only but so big. These are the tickets. Look at the tickets for WrestleMania. They're almost sold through. So, no matter what y'all say, look at these tickets. WrestleMania is a big event. I'm on Ticketmaster right now, and them tickets look pretty gutted for WrestleMania. Right? They look pretty gutted. So why would that even be what you want to compete with? You know what I mean? And then you'd be like, oh, it's no overlapping audience ego. So how do we know what it'll affect? Of course it will. Because there's only so many Uber drivers. There's only so many hotel rooms. There's only so, like, what if your kid's birthday is April 18th, right? And you could go take him to WrestleMania or go watch a boxing fight by yourself, and he don't really care about boxing. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to have people who are torn and conflicted when you have two events and one being a colossal event on the same date. There's going to be some people that probably can't make it, right? I got to take my son to WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So even if you're an avid boxing fan, given the fact that a big event is coming in town, even if you personally would rather watch the boxing match, again, people have families and stuff like that, or boxing is not quite as big as it used to be. You know what I mean? So some people might go with the bigger show, you know, which is in Allegiant Stadium. They wouldn't book out a venue that big if they didn't feel like they could fill it up. So obviously it's going to be a big show on that same date. And this is what DAZN is fighting for and trying to snake Oscar De La Hoya for, to get this fight across the line with two guys with no real dynamic personalities, no real charisma, in a fight that's really not marinated, a la May Pacquiao, De La Hoya, and Julio Cesar Chavez, or De La Hoya, Felix Tito Trinidad. It don't have that type of depth to it, and you're going to do all this for that type of fight. So I find, surprisingly, I find it to be a bit much given what you have to do, like lawsuits and court dates. You're doing a whole lot. So they're gonna have to change the date or something. And don't be surprised, because Boxingego videos travel. People watch me. So if Virgil Ortiz and his team gets their way, don't be surprised after I brought up the WrestleMania point if the date magically changes off for April 18th, because that is a huge conflict, and DAZN would be foolish to go head up and try to take the head up fade with WrestleMania 42 or whatever. Doesn't even make sense. In the same city, not even like in New York or something. And we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But Team Ortiz fights back and they fire back. They don't like the restraining order. They're trying to get this over the line. De La Hoya, I think initially he probably thought it would just go away. Like, I'll tell him Eddie Hearn's playing, Boots is playing, the fight ain't happening, and then they would just drop it. But instead, it created a chain reaction, and now De La Hoya is up against it because they feel they have a loophole to get out of their contract, and maybe they do. We're going to find out shortly if this fight is able to go through. So Golden Boy, in, you know, giving the ultimatums and doing them public videos and it getting here, is going to be real interesting if Golden Boy don't get his way, because now you might lose another fighter. You lost Canelo, you might lose Virgil Ortiz, depending on how this swings and how this play out. So very interesting times, very, very interesting times. I'm an interested spectator because this is what I do, Unpacked, and we'll see how it ultimately plays out. But a lot of trouble. This is a lot of trouble, you know. And for me, I stand by what I've stated in this video. The fight's not big enough to be doing all this. Period. I don't care who says what. It's not. It's definitely not big enough to go against WrestleMania in the same city, but it's not a big enough fight for all this to be happening, in my honest opinion, right? And then it could be a thing where, like I said, if Virgil Ortiz's current team gets their way and they push forward, they're going to look crazy if Boots cooks them. You know, yeah, you made money, but then you took somebody and they're no longer undefeated, da-da-da-da. So, and even, I got so much to say, man. But I want to see how it play out first. I don't want to give y'all too much. Because, like, here's the thing. When I look at a situation like this, Boots just moved to 54. He fought Lima Beans. He ain't fought nobody at 54. Boots resume at 47 is not even super decorated. Stanionis, maybe the best name he fought, right? So, okay, let's say Virgil Ortiz knocks him out. Okay, cool. Then what? It's not like Boots was Felix Tito Trinidad or Cotto or something like that. He don't have that type of resume. So, again, for me, it's a cool fight, but to have all this bickering and lawsuits and back and forth, the restraining orders, TROs and back this and I'll testify, it ain't that type of fight. It ain't that type of fight at all for it to have escalated to this point. I firmly believe that. And again, like I said, the people who are trying to push it over the line, they're trying to push it over the line and compete with WrestleMania, which to me makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all. I don't understand why you would even put yourself through that. You want to give yourself, that's like a movie coming out and then you have a small, low budget movie and you drop the same day as the Avengers new movie or Black Panther 3. Like, you're going to get cooked. You're going to get crushed. Your movie's not big enough. You getting crushed, You're going to get crushed. So I'll keep you guys posted and let you know how it plays out. But things are definitely heating up on both sides. I'll be interested to see what Oscar and Golden Boy, how they respond to this. And of course, the hearing is on Friday. So be interesting. Check back on the channel. I'll keep you updated. Shout out to everybody for the support. I told you it's going to be a long one because there's a lot of moving parts here. If you want to follow the movement and contribute, my link me is in the description. We're definitely going to enhance the technology as we go to keep building the channel up. So many ways to support that in my link me. We Unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.